Jumba graduated from Evil Genius University with flying colors and immediately started building the wildest army the galaxy never asked for. From sock thieves to universe imploders, I went through every one of his experiments so you can finally argue with your friends over which cousin of Stitch is the most chaotic, cursed, or weirdly helpful. It all began with experiment 000, Jumba's very first creation. He looked like a purple version of Stitch and had nearly all of his powers: super strength, acid spit, wall climbing, bulletproof skin, and advanced intelligence. But later, Jumba transformed him into a black cyborg with metal limbs, spider legs, and weaponized arms that could turn into lasers and harpoons. He's basically what Stitch would look like in a horror movie. Then Jumba started with humble creations. Experiment 001, Shrink, was the first to be funded by Hamsterville. His power was the ability to shrink or enlarge anything. On the complete opposite end is 002, Double Dip, who might be the most disgusting of the early experiments. He was made to lick food and put it back in the bowl. That's it. But somehow, he ended up as one of Miss Hasegawa's cats. 003, How Come, is one of the many experiments we never actually saw. We know the number, but there's no official design or ability listed anywhere. But that brings us to one we did meet, 007, Gigi. She looked like a tiny white Shih Tzu. She was made to constantly bark and annoy people. In the end, she became Myrtle's pet, living a pretty normal dog life despite being an experiment. Then there's 009, Pop, who had a tail that could blow up giant balloons and pop them to create loud, disorienting blasts. His power was sound-based confusion, which could easily ruin someone's day. 010, Felix, was created to clean, using his long nose to vacuum up dirt and grime. But he was too aggressive and decided that everything, including people, was dirty. After a failed fix, he went too far in the other direction and made things dirtier instead of just cleaning them up. Some were just made for convenience. 014, Colonel, was designed to pop popcorn from the top of his head during movie nights. That's all he does. He's harmless, ridiculous looking, and oddly charming. Then there's 020, Slick, who was a nonstop salesman with a gift for persuasion. He was made to talk until people gave in and bought something. Lilo put him to work selling items for charity, turning an annoying trait into a useful one. 21, Twang, played constant folk music to drive people crazy. He was never shown in the series, but we know his DNA was used to create another experiment later on. Some experiments had stranger powers. 022, Hertz Donut, resembled a seahorse. His power was to fire donut-shaped energy blasts that wrapped around and restrained people. He'd even ask, "Have you ever had a Hertz donut?" before attacking. 024, Hamlet, is another of Miss Hasegawa's many cat experiments. While we never see him in action, it's said he can turn anything into ham. Then there's 025, Topper, which was made to shine brightly as a warning signal for galactic invasions. Instead, he became the star of the town's Christmas tree. He glows so brightly that aliens in other galaxies can actually see him. Moving into the more manipulative powers, we have 029, Checkers. He has the power to hypnotize people into treating the wearer of the crown like royalty. The effect breaks once the crown is removed and doesn't work on the blind or other experiments. He now serves as a ceremonial crown during festivals. 031 has 4 arms and large pincers. We don't get to see much of him, but he lives with Miss Hasegawa and probably keeps things interesting. 032, Fiber, is a walking lie detector. Whenever someone tells a lie, the lights on his head flash and he lets out a beep. The louder the lie, the louder the alarm. 033, Hammerface, has a hammer-shaped head and was designed to hammer nails. Unfortunately, he doesn't always know the difference between wood and people. 036, Pokey, uses his spiked tail to puncture things and cause leaks. He's basically a living hazard sign. 040, Backhoe, is mole-like in appearance and was made to dig up and destroy vegetation. His tunneling abilities are strong, but not exactly useful for most daily tasks. Not all were dangerous, though. 044, Forehead, has 4 heads that sing together like a barbershop quartet. Sadly, they're tone-deaf and can't sing in harmony. Still, he became one of Hasegawa's cats and found a home despite the noise. 047, Loradaire, looks like a platypus with an accordion body. His main job is to embarrass people by pulling down their pants. He's not very dangerous, but definitely annoying. 051, Hawker, has acidic saliva that can melt through almost anything. Somehow, he also ended up in Miss Hasegawa's care. 052, Coco, is a fan favorite. He can turn any object into chocolate. Stitch gave him to Lilo for her birthday, and honestly, I wish someone would do that for me. But not all dessert-based experiments were sweet. 054, Fudgy, is less cute than Coco. He's made of chocolate himself, but was built to drown enemies in it. Then came 062, French Fry. He was made to cook fast food using a spatula tail. He spoke French, moved at lightning speed, and had a dark side. He fattened people up and tried to eat them. Thankfully, he now runs a low-fat fry stand instead. 074, Welko, looks like a balloon animal and can create unbreakable bubbles that last for a short time. He's one of the more harmless and fun designs. 077, he snored so loudly he could shake a room. That was his entire job, to make noise and bother everyone. Naturally, he's part of Hasegawa's collection too. Some were more dangerous again. 86 Clink is a crab-like creature with a prison cell in his chest. He can split into two separate halves, each with its own mind, and trap people inside. The 89 Skip was supposed to jump forward 10 minutes in time, but because of a glitch, he sends people 10 years into the future instead. He has a reset button, thankfully, but you'd better hope you don't lose track of time with him around. Finally, Zo90 Fetch It is another experiment we never saw in action, but we know he was adopted by Miss Hasegawa. His power remains unknown, but he's part of the early test group. With the test phase behind him, Jumba moved into his next project, creating experiments designed to disrupt society itself. We begin with Experiment 102, Stop Go. He looked like a walking traffic light, literally. A long neck with red and green signals on his head, blinking back and forth. He was built to cause massive traffic jams, but instead of chaos, he now serves as an actual working traffic light. Next is 103, Stamen. At first glance, he might seem harmless, but he was designed to stop pollination by attracting bees and insects to himself. No pollination means no crops, no food, and collapsing ecosystems. 110, Squeak, was built to talk nonstop. He rambled endlessly, and to make things worse, his voice could shift to a painfully high pitch. His mouth even acted as a built-in megaphone. He was made to annoy entire planets. Fun fact, his design was inspired by Sniffles from the old Merry Melodies cartoons. From chatter to lawn destruction, we have 111 Mulch. This guy had a giant push mower between his legs and shredded the ground as he moved. Naturally, he became Miss Hasegawa's 8th cat. One of my favorites in this set is 112 Toons. His ability changed a few times. Originally, he turned people into cartoons. Then Hamsterville modified him to become whatever drawing was fed into his mouth. Later, Jumba upgraded him again. Now he can bring any 2D image to life. Just spin his collar to undo it. He's basically an animated magic printer. 113 Shoe had the power to control luck. Jumba built him to give people bad luck. But by flipping the horseshoe on its head, it turns into good luck instead. He now works at a mini golf course, helping players land hole-in-ones. 119 Inverto was mislabeled in the lab. His pod was upside down, so Hamsterville thought he was Experiment 611. That confusion becomes important later in the series, but for now, he's just a paperwork disaster. 120 Snafu was made to ruin plans. Literally, his entire purpose is to sabotage any strategy or mission he's aware of. Trying to catch him? That's a plan, so it fails. The only way around him is pure luck or complete chaos. Then we have 122 Dorkifier. His horns fire beams that make people look ridiculously uncool. Think socks with sandals level embarrassing. You can't remove the dorky effect unless his horns are powered down. 123, Carmen brings the rhythm and the pain. She fires energy blasts from her maracas that force people to dance uncontrollably until they collapse. Thankfully, clapping her maracas together cancels the effect, and yes, she speaks fluent Spanish, just like French Fry spoke French. 124, Rhymer. We only know by name. He was mentioned due to a mislabeling involving Hammerface, but nothing more was ever shown about him. 128, Bugby, is straight up terrifying. He was made to turn entire civilizations into insects, permanently. He can't undo it either. Only Jumba's tech can reverse the effect. Now, he works on a farm transforming rocks into helpful ladybugs to protect crops. 133, PJ, is the prankster of the bunch. His job? Play practical jokes. That's it. He probably would have had a YouTube channel if he existed today. Instead, he found his place as an opening act for Moses' hula shows. 134 Shredder is exactly what the name suggests. He's got a paper chute on his head and razor-sharp teeth designed to destroy important documents. Naturally, Miss Hasegawa adopted him. Because, of course, she did. 145 Bragg went through a glow-up. Originally, he told tall tales to annoy people, but Hamsterville modified him to tell sad stories instead and made him adorable. Now he looks like a small yellow bunny who plays harmonica and earns sympathy. But don't be fooled. He's still strong enough to fight Stitch on even ground. Then we hit one of the strangest designs, 148 Weazello. His entire job was to run up the legs of planetary leaders during public speeches to embarrass them. That's it. I mean, Jumba must have really been grasping at straws that day. Now meet the iconic crime duo, 149 Bonnie and 150 Clyde. Bonnie is a brilliant thief with expert planning skills. Clyde is the muscle with a robotic arm full of tools and weapons. Together, they could break into anything. They were eventually caught and sent to prison, but were later released on parole. 121 Baby Fear looked like a baby himself. Pacifier, Rattletail, the whole deal. He could turn others into literal babies by sprinkling powder on them. The cure? A very specific blend of milk, applesauce, bananas, and Kona coffee. His true place became a dog shelter, where he turns old dogs into puppies to help them get adopted. 153 XYZ was never shown on screen, but we know he was designed to unzip his pants, and that's all we know. Sounds like he would have been Lorder's best friend. 158 Finder is incredibly useful. He can track down any missing person or object using his nose. He flies by spinning his ears like helicopter blades and honks like a party horn when he finds what you're looking for. 164 Lestixia has one of the best names in the entire series. She makes people temporarily unable to read by giving them dyslexia-like symptoms. I can imagine this causing absolute chaos in a school or during exams. 177 Clip was built to eat a rare fuel source called UUM. Jumba wanted her to drive up demand and crash the economy. But there was a translation issue. In his language also means hair, so Clip just eats hair now. Every time she does, she grows larger. She found a home in a hair salon where her appetite is actually useful. And last in this group is 199, Nosy. His job was to dig up humiliating secrets about Jumba's enemies, but a flaw in his code made him obsessed with gossip instead. Instead of military intel, he prefers juicy drama. He's basically an alien tabloid reporter. After messing with public order in the 100s, Jumba turned his attention to something even more dangerous: technology. We start with experiment 201, Geigenstein. Sadly, we don't know anything about him. All we have is the name and number, but the chaos begins right after. 202 Jam looked like a gremlin with bat wings and a tail. His shrill screeches could jam radar and radio signals. He was designed to shut down communication mid-battle, and he did it in style. 204 No Socks is one of my personal favorites. He looks like a living washing machine and steals socks. That's his whole purpose. If you've ever wondered where your missing sock went, blame this guy. Then there's 210 Retro. This small T-Rex-like experiment could turn anything back to its prehistoric state by wrapping it in its tongue. Luckily, he could reverse it by being spanked 3 times. Retro eventually found work at a wildlife park, reviving extinct animals for the Mesozoic Zoo. 214 Pix was built to take terrible pictures. He uses 3 long legs like a tripod and has a camera on his nose. He spits out photos that distort the subject to look freakish. 220 Millie has 10 arms and uses them to plug air filters. That's literally all he does. Now 221 Sparky is a big deal. He can turn into electricity and fly through wires, machines, and even power lines. He can also fire electric blasts between his antennae. Sparky's true place became an abandoned lighthouse. He had enough energy to keep it running all on his own. 222 Poxy was built as a virus. He infects leaders with purple pimples, smelly feet, and uncontrollable burping, only in the right eye. It's a very specific humiliation. He's a walking health crisis. 223 Glitch combines the worst of Poxy and Sparky. He turns any piece of technology against its user, like a living computer virus. He eventually found a home inside a game console, where his chaos made the games more fun. Remember Clip, the one who accidentally ate hair instead of fuel? Jumba corrected that with 225 Mashai, a dinosaur-like experiment built to crush the indestructible fuel source He was built to start a galactic fuel crisis by destroying rare gems. 227 Butter looks like a mammoth and acts like a battering ram. He was made to smash through doors and barricades with his tusks. 228 Melty is a tiny dragon with the power to melt anything: walls, weapons, vehicles. He eventually found work at a recycling plant, where he melts metal on purpose instead of out of rage. 229 Kingpin was made to be a training dummy in war games. He's unlucky though, so people constantly miss him. That's about the only thing that makes him interesting. 234 Shush has enormous ears and a speaker on his tail. He can eavesdrop from a distance and relay what he hears. Naturally, Cobra Bubbles recruited him for CIA work. 248 Belle might sound cute, but she lets out an ear-piercing shriek to scare enemies. Nani uses her as an alarm clock. 249 Sproing has a giant spring in his body. He was built to launch boulders, but now uses that same flexibility to help people reach high shelves. 251 Link was built to force incompatible people to stick together using goo from his antenna. On 50 planets, it's impossible to break, but Earth's mud dissolves it, so Link now works at a cliff diving attraction for couples therapy. 254 Mr. Stenchy is dangerously cute. Enemies would take him back to HQ, and then he'd release a foul odor that cleared the place out. The twist? On his home planet, that smell is considered lovely, so he went back where he's appreciated. 255 Mrs. Sickly looks just like Mr. Stenchy but gives off a sickeningly sweet scent that literally makes people ill. If both she and Mr. Stenchy are in the same room, their smells mix and trigger a chemical reaction that could destroy the planet. So don't invite them to the same party. 258 Sample records random sounds and loops them endlessly. He found his true place as a beatmaker for an alien rock band called Fox Roswell and the Tall Grays. Then we have 262 Ace. He was a mistake. Jumba accidentally made him with zero evil inside. He's heroic to the core and now works with the Association of Alien Rejects. He's the Superman of the series, minus the cape. 267 Wishy Washy grants wishes, literally. Wish for $1 million? He might give you deer instead of dollars. Also, he only has a limited number of wishes. Once the bar on his chest empties, he's done for good. 272 Wormhole is a universe-hopping experiment. He creates portals to parallel dimensions and can understand any language. He's the multiverse traveler Stitch never asked for. 274 Alexander is a little less dramatic. He just racks up phone bills with expensive long-distance calls. 275 Tickle Tummy is somehow terrifying and silly. She tickles her victims into submission with long fingers. I hate everything about her design. 276 Remy was designed to enter your dreams and turn them into nightmares. If you wake up while he's still inside your dream, he stays there forever. Thankfully, Jumba reprogrammed him to be harmless, and he now works in virtual reality design. 277 Snooty was built to mine Snoonian, a rare, unstable power source. Earth doesn't have any, but the substance closely resembles mucus. Snooty now clears out Victoria's sinuses. 285 Lax is every procrastinator's worst enemy. He zaps people with laziness, making them stop working, lose motivation, and fall behind. He eventually found his place calming down angry tourists at airports. Fitting. Let's not forget Miss Hasegawa's favorite returning theme, her cat collection. 288 Boomer is a living boomerang. No matter where he's thrown, he always returns. Probably her most convenient pet yet. Finally, 297 Short Stuff. He shorts out mechanical devices and causes chaos. After getting hit with an enlarging ray, he grew massive and became an amusement park ride. Now he causes chaos on purpose, but everyone's paying for it. The 300s were built for something more subtle. Psychological warfare. We start with 300, Spooky, who could transform into anyone's worst fear. That meant clowns, asteroids, spiders, even Jumba's ex-wife. He eventually settled into a much tamer job, scaring kids on Halloween and haunting a local abandoned house. Then we meet 303, Amnesio, who could erase memories with lasers from his eyes. Victims could get their memories back by saying a password, or by eating the memory pouch he carried. 316 Morpholomew was built to transform people into duplicates of anyone he sees or sees a picture of. The body changes, but the voice stays the same. He now works in a costume shop, helping customers look like their favorite celebs. 319 Spike made people silly by shooting them with his quills. His hit lowers your intelligence to 1% for 48 hours. Think of him as the walking embodiment of a sugar crash. 320 Cloudy constantly creates rain to depress people. He's one of Miss Hasegawa's cats now, and she uses the rainfall to water her fruit stand. 322 Heckler was made to verbally insult people until their morale broke. Naturally, he ended up working in a dunk tank where his trash talk finally found a purpose. But then there's 323, Hunka Hunka, who causes instant lovesickness. One peck, and you fall in love with the first person you see, until you're hit in the face with water. He's basically Cupid with a glitch. 340, Noticerto is one we've never seen, but we know he causes mass sadness by stealing desserts. 344, Dupe can clone anyone, but each clone only has a fraction of the original's power. Dupe now makes half-calorie shaved ice instead of people, arguably his best form yet. 345, Elastico has a stretchy clown body and was designed to distract enemies. Naturally, he joined a circus. 347, Slobber only appeared in a Disney magazine, and we still don't know what he does, but with that name, it's probably messy. 355, Swapper swaps minds between people. He can swap more than two if he wants, which leads to instant chaos if not fixed fast. 358, Manners is one of my favorites. He floats around spreading polite dust that makes people too well-mannered to fight. He's another of Hawa's cats, though I doubt she needs any help being polite. 360, Drowsy used his voice to put people into a deep sleep. The only cure? A splash of cold water. He now works helping insomniacs rest peacefully. 375, Phantasmo is a ghostly experiment that takes control of objects to cause chaos. He's intangible, nearly impossible to catch, and now works animating robots at a restaurant. Probably not Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's close. 383, Swirly hypnotizes people with his swirling eyes. Once you're under, you'll follow the next suggestion you hear, unless someone snaps their fingers to break the spell. He now performs at kids' parties. Let's hope he's under adult supervision. 390 Slimy leaves trails of goo that make everyone slip and fall. He's simple but effective. Finally, 397 Spats was designed to start arguments so intense, people wouldn't notice their world being conquered. The only way to break his effect is to stop and count to 10. He now works in pro wrestling, making staged fights look real. The 400s were a secret batch. Top-level military stuff, most of it scrapped or abandoned. Out of the whole group, we've only seen a handful. 412 was designed to burn bagels. That's it. Someone must have been very hungry during development. 413 Botulator spoiled food. 414 Krusty spread mold across bread. 415 Patter ate one sock from a pair, not two, just one. We skip over nearly 40 more experiments we know nothing about, until we reach 455 Mary. She was built to be a bouncer for Jumba's lab and literally body-checked unwanted guests right out the door. And last in the 400 series is 489 Huggo. He looks like a big octopus and was made to strangle and crush enemies with his tentacles. Honestly, one of the most terrifying designs to come out of the whole database. The 500s were built to reshape the environment. We kick off with 501 Yin, an octopus who fires high-pressure water blasts from her tentacles. Paired with 502 Yang, a lava-launching lizard. The two are made to create new land by fusing water and magma. 505 Plute eats pollution. Not just garbage, he metabolizes it and grows bigger the more he consumes. Once full, he converts it into toxic sludge. He now cleans beaches, very carefully. 507 Woody is a wood-chomping beaver with oversized mandibles. Instead of eating forests, he became one of Miss Hasegawa's surprisingly functional cats. 509 Sprout is basically a walking plant apocalypse. He grows uncontrollable forests that tunnel underground and spawn clones. He's now rooted to the top of a water tower. 513 Richter might be one of the cutest designs, until he finds a weak spot in the ground and triggers earthquakes big enough to split the planet. Luckily, he's now making milkshakes at the rental shack. 515 Deforestor is Sprout's natural enemy. He spins razor-sharp claws to tear through entire forests. He can even use them to launch himself into the air or race at high speed. 519 Splat looks like a steamroller and acts like one too. He was built to flatten cities. Instead, he now flattens roads and construction zones. 520 Cannonball dives into water to generate tsunamis he can fully control. He was repurposed to make surfing waves at the beach. 521 Rapper has a tape roll for a tail and uses it to wrap up enemies like a mummy. He now lives with Miss Hasegawa. Not sure how she avoids getting taped up every morning. 523 Slushy brings the cold. He can create blizzards and build snowdrifts as high as buildings. He now makes shaved ice alongside Dupe. 529 Digger has a drill tail and digs through anything, even the planet itself. He's a menace underground, but at least he's predictable. 531 Heisey only appeared in the comics, and we never saw his powers. He's still officially on record, though. 533 Blowhard has an elephant's trunk that shoots wind strong enough to lift people like balloons. He lives with Miss Hasegawa now, floating cats and all. 540 Foon is a stronger version of Blowhard. She creates full-on typhoons. After a mutation, she learned to launch wind projectiles. These days, she helps windsurfers at the beach. 544 Thresher uses long, vine-like tentacles to destroy plants and smack around anything that gets close. 566 Derek was built to drill potholes into roads and mess up traffic. Most importantly, he's the final member of Miss Hasegawa's now 15-member cat crew. And last for the 500s is 586 Tank. He eats metal. The more he eats, the bigger and stronger he grows. If he goes too long without feeding, he shrinks back down. Finally, the 600s were the endgame. These were military-grade, designed for war, invasion, and full-scale destruction, and almost every single one of them was dangerous. We begin, oddly enough, with 600 Whoops, a clumsy prototype of Stitch. He had all of Stitch's powers, but couldn't stop breaking things by accident. Now he bowls for police team. 601 Kix was a combat specialist. He's great at kickboxing and wrestling. Thankfully, he mellowed out and now teaches martial arts, and has his own home workout series. 602 Sinker was built to rip through enemy fleets with his sharp dorsal fin. These days, he slices vegetables and fish at a sushi restaurant. 603 Zap was a living laser, capable of flying at high speed and crashing through almost anything. He never found a true place, and honestly, I get it. 604 Houdini could make anything vanish. Armies, weapons, even himself. The problem? He was scared of loud noises, so he vanished. The second things got dangerous. He now works as a magician in Hollywood. 606 Holio was a walking black hole. He could consume entire galaxies, but now just sucks up garbage on construction sites. 607 Launch is unseen, but terrifying. He was built to collapse the universe by warping space-time. He looks like Rufus from Kim Possible. I always knew that little guy was hiding something. 608 Slugger used his tail like a baseball bat to knock away attacks. 609 Heat fires laser beams from a bulb on his forehead. 610 Witch has supernatural powers, possession, object animation, and invisibility. She can even control minds, unless she sees her reflection, which forces her out of a host. Then we come to 611, Elfin, the most dangerous of all. He was built to implode the universe with a spoken password. Thankfully, Jumba forgot the password. 603, RP, makes massive sonic blasts that can flatten buildings. He now works at Lilo's hula school as a buzzer and an alien invasion alarm. 617, Plasmoid fires plasma from his tail. 619, Sploddyhead does the same but from his nose. Splottyhead lights tiki torches now. It's cute if you forget he's a living cannon. 621 Chopsuey was the villain in Stitch's video game. He had Stitch's abilities but lacked the talent. Eventually, he was mutated to absorb powers from other creatures by eating their DNA. 624 Angel is a fan favorite and Stitch's love interest. Her voice turns experiments evil, but singing in reverse undoes the effect. She's now an intergalactic pop star. 625 Reuben is my personal favorite. He's a Stitch prototype with all the same powers, plus perfect speech. His only flaw, he's ridiculously lazy and just wants to make sandwiches. He's now Gantu's sidekick and chef. And of course, 626, Stitch himself. He's fireproof, bulletproof, and strong enough to lift 3,000 times his weight. He can learn anything instantly, speaks 20 languages, drives any vehicle, and remembers everything. Add in night vision, X-ray vision, internal encyclopedias, and indestructibility, and you've got the ultimate experiment. Naturally, his true place is with Lilo. Then came 627, built to be better than Stitch with added powers. Plasma blasts, frost breath, wind webs, fire, diamond creation, illusions. But he laughed at everything, literally. His sense of humor was so strong that he couldn't fight without collapsing in hysterics. He was never rehabilitated and locked back into storage. 628 was teased, but never activated. We saw his pod, but that's it. 629 Leroy was Jumba's forced follow-up. Stronger, faster, meaner than Stitch. He even came with a clone army. But his failsafe was music, specifically Aloha Oe. One song later, Leroy shut down along with every clone. Like 627, he's too dangerous to ever be reformed, and his one true place is prison. I've done my part digging through the madness, but now it's your turn. Who's the GOAT? Who deserved to stay in storage? Let me know down below. Just don't blame me when the debate turns into a full-on Stitch-level brawl.